This is my first year using a GREENSTAK in my garden. Well, two of them. So if you want to know how I feel about them, just stay tuned. If you have no clue what a GREENSTAK is, think of them like a pillar-like structure with multiple levels stacked on top of each other, and in between each level you have a water reservoir. There are 6 packets on each level, 6 packets around each level, and on each packet you can plant one plant or multiple depending on what you are using it for. Oh, the bees are like all over the oregano because it's flowering. The GREENSTAKs come in 2 styles, original and leaf. The original has packets that are 10 inches tall or deep, and the leaf are only 7 inches. So the original is a little bit more of the bigger size, even though next to each other they look almost identical. I have 2 originals over here that I decided to use in my garden. I purchased the full size. Each original comes with 5 levels, but I'm only using 3 on each side. That is my personal decision because of the location where I have them. I didn't really want the taller, oh, now there is a bee in my lens. I didn't want to have the tall pillars or the tall columns to be giving shade to the plants that I have on the back. So this is really my first year trying the GREENSTAKs, like I mentioned, and so far I am so pleased with how they're performing, with how easy they are to use. And I told you guys that I was going to be making this video in the middle of the summer when they were at their fullest, and that's why I haven't done any harvest on my herbs that I have on this side. I haven't used them for cooking, but I have been pinching on the back where you can't really see, but they are really ready for me to harvest, for me to dry them inside. But I just wanted to really show you a picture of what they look like when they are at their fullest. So let me just show you a little bit how they're set up. So if you are thinking about maybe buying a GREENSTAK, or if you have never purchased one before, this might be a great option if you have very small space, just a patio, just a balcony, or very limited space in your driveway, and hopefully you can make your decision. This guy right here is the one where I have 4 tomato plants, a few nasturtium plants, and some basil on the back. The tomato plants that I have here are Prairie Fire. They are a semi-determinate tomato, so they are not supposed to get really huge, really monster plants like any other indeterminate tomato will be, but they definitely love it here, you guys. This area right here gets full sun. It's facing the south side of this area where I am, so they get plenty of sun, and they are loving it here. I have a few supports. I believe I have 2 supports that are just accessories for the GREENSTAK, and these supports are definitely helping with some of the weight of the tomato plants. But I have beautiful plants here growing, and I just love how easy it is to use them and how convenient they are, because think of it, 4 tomato plants, a bunch of nasturtiums, and a bunch of basil in this very small space. It's really a no-brainer for me. Since I'm already here, I am going to pick a few of these tomatoes that are ready. Look at that. Look at that beautiful tomatoes. This is how big they get, and they get a little bit more orange. A couple of days inside, and these guys are going to be ready. This other GREENSTAK over here is also 3 levels. You can kind of see them a little bit. And I have all of my herbs here. I have plenty of oregano, thyme. I have some yerba buena, which is Mexican peppermint. I have some rosemary. I have a small kale plant on the other side that is just not doing quite well. And I believe that I have some lavender. I get easily confused with rosemary and lavender. But anyway, my herbs are doing amazing here. And like I said, I have been using this for cooking inside, but I really just wanted to let them be to the fullest so that I can make this video and show you how easy they are to use. I am going to be harvesting a bunch of these herbs today because I really want to clean them and dry them because they're definitely ready. My oregano is already kind of going to flower, but I'm not It doesn't matter to me. I am going to just pick the flowers. I am going to cut them really, really close to where they are, and I know that this oregano is going to fully come back, and I am going to have plenty of oregano, which I love to use for my cooking indoors. So what about watering the green stacks? Do I have to move the plants to water each packet individually? Because that will be a lot of watering, a lot of time involved watering. Let me show you how they design these things. There is a water reservoir on top, which is where you're supposed to water every time that you need to do this. Between each level, there is a water reservoir where this main reservoir on top gets filled down between each levels. So really all you have to do is come here and fill this up to the top and let the system do what it's supposed to do. It slowly releases the water to each level. And you do the same thing when you are fertilizing. You add your water, you add your liquid fertilizer, and then that's pretty much it. I heard from some people that they choose to water each packet. It works better for them instead of filling the top. Really, the way that these things are designed is they have the reservoir on top. So for me, that works. But you do whatever you need to do when you have one. Honestly, with the size of these containers, with the size of each level, you may think that one needs to be watering all the time. But honestly, I probably water once, maybe twice a week whenever it's really, really hot outside. And my plants are doing amazing. Sometimes I forget, because if I do it every week, sometimes I forget to water them, and the tomatoes let me know that they need water. And I just come here, I fill the reservoir, and they are completely fine. This year I got most of my garden, about 95% of my garden, on irrigation. So I have a system, I have different zones, which I show you in a different video, where I use my app on my phone and I water everything that is needed. And if you're one of those people that might think, I really don't have the time to be watering, whenever it's needed, especially for your containers, then GreenStack came out with this watering system. And I show you in a past video how I got a couple of them. So both of my GreenStacks are attached to my irrigation system. It is really, really easy for you to just come here and use your hose and plug it in if you don't want to be standing here for the whole 2 minutes that it takes you to fill the tap of the reservoir. But having the system, the automatic system, it allows you to use that for your irrigation if you have one, or if you want to think about adding one. Having that option of having the irrigation system is honestly great, in my opinion. Another great benefit of having one of these green stacks, in my opinion, is that it makes it really accessible to plants. My mom is, she's getting older. She loves to grow a lot of plants in her garden. A lot of these plants, I try to make them, especially tomatoes or other things, I try to help her making trellises for it so that she doesn't have to be on the ground, on her knees, leaning down to do her harvest. She loves cheltepin peppers, and the plants get about maybe this tall from the ground. So whenever it's time to harvest, she really has to be on her knees on the ground picking those. And if you know cheltepin peppers, they're like the size of a penny or smaller. So picking those individually is hard, and it is time consuming, and it is a long time for her to be on her knees. I recently got her a green stack for Mother's Day. I got her the whole system. I got her a base, I got her the original, the big one. I got her supports, I got her a lid. The only thing that I did not get her was the watering system, because she really doesn't have the irrigation, and where the green stack is not really super accessible for water. But now that she has it, I put all of her cheltepin peppers. I think she has 18 plants on it, and they are all growing right there on her driveway. So whenever she wants to do her harvest, which is coming up pretty soon, she's just going to be standing there picking them up, or she is just going to grab a chair next to her green stack, and she can just rotate the pillar. She can rotate the huge container that she has with all of her peppers, so she doesn't have to be on her knees the whole time. some of you watching this video are probably thinking, oh no, she's killing her plants. You guys, these are going to come back. I'm going to show you another update here in a month. We'll see how big these plants are doing. Oh, this poor marigold had no chance with all of the shade. Okay, I think, oh, you wanna go up that way, don't you? Okay, this is good. Look at all these peppermint, all these yerba buena. So good, so good. I have a lot to do, lots to do. I think that I'm going to leave the stuff, all the oregano on the back for the birds, because these guys are here on the back are full of flowers. So I'm just going to leave those there for the bees. I have plenty that I gotta dry. So is a GREENSTAK a good thing for you to buy for your garden? Do you have a very small space? Do you have only a patio where you can't really have anything in the ground? I think GREENSTAKs are a really, really great option. And like I said, I have the 2 originals. I have the extra 2 levels for each of these pillars. And next year, I'm going to move them maybe on the back where they can get full sun and they don't have to shade anything. So I'm going to add the other 2 levels next year, and I am just going to load them with plants, flowers and vegetables, because since I have the big size, I don't really have to worry about plants not doing well. I mean, my tomatoes are proof that the plants do really, really well here. So hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully I answered some of your questions. I know that some of you have been wondering how I am liking my GREENSTAKs. I love them. I cannot recommend them enough. If you're interested in looking to get one, I'm going to leave some links in the description where you can check them out. And let me know what you think. It's hot. Now it's hot.